All right, I'm doing the build on my new bike. I was impatient, couldn't wait to finish the rack, and I couldn't wait to take it to powder coat, and couldn't wait for some of the parts I ordered, so I'm sort of improvising. And my wheels are finally ready, so I just went this morning and picked these up from Stowe Wheels. He's my friend Brian. He's my favorite wheel builder in the world. He builds wheels way better than I do. So. They are Velocity High Polish Atlas rims. They're my favorite. They're a heavy touring rim, but I'm heavy. But they're also square box section, and they do them in high polish, which I like. I got the Velo Orange, bright silver rear hub. This hub's cool because it does the quick release axle caps, or you can swap it out for the through axle caps. The big hollow axle, which a lot of stuff is now. So this is 135 quick release. Disc brakes. 11-speed hub. I'm going to use an 8-speed with like a little spacer. So I'm using all vintage 7-speed Dior XT derailleur and thummy, but the 7-speed thummies you can usually, there's a dead spot after the last click, you can pull and get up into 8th. So I'm hoping. I also have some Dura Ace 9-speed Mega Range stuff. Like I thought about using, but this group seems more fun. I wanted it because the XT derailleur's a little gold on it. My logos are gold. But then every time I ordered something, I got some light gold, some dark gold, some darker gold. So I'm going with all the dark gold stuff that doesn't match the XT or my logos, so whatever. That is the back wheel. It's got the Atlas stickers. They're super cute. They're like the best sticker Velocity makes. And I really wanted gold nipples, and I put this off forever because I could only find light gold nipples. I finally found these dark gold nipples on eBay like 3 or 4 days ago. I ordered them. They were super cheap on clearance. They showed up. They're almost the same dark gold. They look pretty good. Brian hated them. They're cheap. He said they're like slightly off center, some of them. They're extra long, and his spoke cutting and all spoke cutting machines only cut like a certain length. So he had to force the last thread to poke up into the nipple, which he said is something a lot of companies do. It's a little extra hard and annoying. And he said it was really a fight, so thanks, Brian, for building these wheels. He told me he wouldn't ever want to use them again. I'm like, I understand. I mean, I have 5 or 6 extras in case they break, and if a few of them break, whatever. If a few more of them break, then I'll just be slowly replacing the regular nipples, or just replace the whole things with regular nipples, whatever. So that is the rear wheel. The front wheel, I was gonna go with like a cheaper SP hub. Like they make silver, a lot of the companies make silver. They're fine. No one had any 6-bolt. You could get a center lock, and then you spend another $30 on a black center lock adapter, and blah, blah, blah. But Brian had this Sun 28 6-bolt disc hub, which is the only way that the Sun hubs come in disc, I think. No? Maybe in silver it's the only way. They might do the center lock thing for some of the other hubs. They had it in stock, and it's outrageously expensive, and I'm poor because I just started my new frame building shop and putting all my money into tools and buying parts for this dumb bike. And now I'm moving and my rent's going up, and it's going to be so much more expensive. But hopefully this bike will be done. I don't have to spend any more money on me. Just have to spend money on rent and maybe buying the occasional tool and frame builder supply, and not parts that are for me that I'm not reselling. Hopefully. I'm crazy. I'll probably build another bike immediately. So I've got the Sun 28. I always use the Sun Wide Body Deluxe because it's got a steel axle instead of the aluminum, and I'm heavy. It should probably be fine. People tell me it's fine. This blue on there is just some clear packing tape so you don't scratch up the hub when you're inserting the spokes, so that'll come right off. But yeah, these are pretty, and I really do like them with the gold nipples to go with all the other tarkiness and goldness of this bike. I got some other stuff. I was at Brian's. This I brought from home. This is a old Brooks Professional with the hand hammered copper rivets. I might repolish them up a little bit, but also just the rough brass looks fine. I have 5 shades of gold anyways. It's a little scruffy, but it's mostly nice, and I think it'll go on this bike because I don't have anything better. Otherwise I feel like an ugly modern black saddle because it would look new. Okay, that's the point. I was Brooks. I brought an old crane bell. I got an old scruffy crane bell out of my used part stash too. It'll go on there. I don't know. Maybe match the Brooks a little bit. Balance things out. Empty hub box. Here's the rest of the nipples, so I got a few extras. I was gonna use the cheap hub, and then I have several silver cheap lights I was gonna use, because I was trying not to go crazy on this bike. But I ended up buying from Brian a Sun Edelux 2 high polish with the long cable, which I want because it's gonna be on the rack. I'm gonna have it go down the rack and go through the fork. I should have made it go through the rack. I don't know what I'm thinking. So I spent every single penny I've had saved up for like a month and a half. I'm getting this light and the hub and the spokes and the lever. So I got the Edelux 2 front light. It's going to look gorgeous. I'm not using a Sun rear light. They have a few. None of them are exactly what I wanted, and the only one that was kind of what I wanted, I think, they only make an anodized silver instead of polished silver for some reason. So I did not get it. Instead, I got one of these little Bosch and Mueller dudes that are all the rage. There's that one dude on here, I can never remember. He makes a little machined aluminum adapter thing. Renaher sells them, and it comes in all the colors. It's very cool. But I won't use that probably. But Brian had a few of these in stock, and I dug through all the boxes and found a single silver one. It is absolutely teeny. I think I have some super vintagey, like 60s or 70s French hardware that bolts onto a fender to hold dynamo lights. I might use something like that. I was gonna grab some from home and bring it, and I forgot. I might use that. Still debating if I want to make a little custom stay off the seat tube for it. But I'll probably just do it on top of the fender, right where it's out and naked and really cool and fragile and delicate. It also comes with a couple of weird little fender mounts that are black plastic. I might use one. I'll play with it and see. But it's cool. So I got one of these guys. I was thinking about using this anyways, and Brian just had it there. I was like, oh, okay. Brian also had a couple of dark gold anodized valve caps, metal valve caps. Now they have light gold. And he has two different shades of dark gold. And then he also had these dark gold tubeless valve stem things he didn't care about. And what I'm going to do is just steal the jam nut off of them. Even though real jam nuts are brass would probably match fine. I don't know what I'm thinking. But that's what I did on my Terry cycles. I used red ones of these and red nipples and a bunch of cheesy. I kind of get this turkey color thing out. I've never done, so I always do all silver, classic parts, and blah, blah, blah. For some reason, I've been wanting to go color party. So I got these from Brian, just threw them in for free. I had some Velo orange cork grips I thought about using, but then I wouldn't be able to use my little bright gold bar end plugs that I got for it. So Brian had some ESI grips. These are like the silicone ESI grips. These are the best grips ever made. They're just wonderful. They come on and off. They're the most comfortable thing you can have in your hand. They clean really easy. These don't slip when they're wet. These are the best grips. They never slip. So we had a set in black. I think that'll look fine. And I can use my cool gold anode plugs. This is a front bolt-on skewer for the for the hub that I will not be using. So I'm going to be using the Velo orange locking skewers. Because I'll be using the Velo orange locking skewers. I did order some gold cheesy locking skewers, which I might end up using. Or sometimes I'll take the Velo oranges and take the actual axles out with their locking mechanism and just put the cheesy other brands like outer anodized caps on. You can still use the BO tool instead of the cheesy stuff. I got that. I got an extra Shimano front connector for my roommate's bike. We put a used dynamo wheel I had on her bike. And then didn't have a connector, and she never put the light on, and she's never come back or cared. So maybe somebody should show up and put the light on and stuff. And then Brian also had some junk in his free box, so I grabbed that. Got one of these like bamboo click multi-tools. This will be good for my bike. It's got the cool wood handle. It's got all the sizes. And it's even got the T25 Torx. It was free. This will be perfect for my new bike. Got some old RMX worn out MKS BMXy style pedals. These are kind of cool. Someone might want them. I could not grab them. If they're a salvage sale, I would have grabbed them. And he had this Originate stem. Black, brand new, positive rise, not too long, 31-inch bar clamp. Someone's going to want that. I'm going to write $20 on this with a Sharpie. Put it right in my stem bin. I bet you the first one that sells. People always want that positive rise and not too long, so they can get their bars up, up, up. That's all people care about. So here's the build so far. I started on it yesterday because I couldn't help myself. I decided I'm not going to wait for powder coat, so I just put my decals on. It looks cool. I also let it rust a little bit. I don't care. I'll get it powder coated before the rust gets bad enough to damage the metal. Probably this winter or something. I'm not going to be riding it much anyways. Maybe. Maybe I'll build myself a whole new bike. Just leave this like it is. But here's a Dior XT rear derailleur. I got some gold oversized like 12-tooth pulleys. So it should be able to wrap more chain. I got this little 36-tooth BMX chain ring from Pork Chop BMX. I think he has these custom made. It's slightly lighter than the other stuff. The pedals are kind of bugging me because they're a much darker gold and they're so close. But the brakes are the much darker gold. I got the rear derailleur hanger extender thing. It's a really long one in dark gold. I'm using 1136 8-speed cassette on this. So I'm hoping with the derailleur hanger extender and the oversized pulleys, I won't have any problems. It'll wrap enough chain, it won't slap, it won't fall off. Got these Zoom brakes, they're hydraulic, cable actuated. It's totally ridiculous, but they're like $48 for the set on eBay. Got all black hardware, which is totally ridiculous, but then figure, okay, the derailleur's got, the black on it here, the shifter's got black, the lever's got black. So I got a dark gold BMX Diatech headset that is the same dark gold as this other stuff, and it's from the same Pork Chop BMX. He had them on sale for half price. I ordered 3 different gold headsets, all saying they're dark gold, all showed up light gold. So I finally ordered this because his pictures are good, and I asked him, he's like, yeah, no, dude, it's dark gold, it's almost orange. Okay. I use black spacers instead of silver because the top cap has the black, and like I said, there's enough other little black stuff. I did get some stainless steel gold anodized bolts. I ordered another set of these. I'm hoping to use for the rack. Keep the bolts looking that way and not have to use silver bolts, but maybe I will. Got the Bell Orange water bottle cage. The Shimano cranks are the same M730 or whatever as the derailleur. I bought a whole parts bike. I bought like a really good shape old aluminum mountain bike because the parts were in good shape. But the fork was dead. I was like, I don't care. The frame had some issues. I don't care. I sold the frame for very cheap. I threw the fork away. I tried to sell it and then realized it was dead. And then I think I sold a few other parts off it, so I made some of my money back. I had an old, like the M71 or whatever, how come I can't remember now, UN71, like Dura Ace level bottom bracket. It was like a 109 spindle. Unless I get a 103 spindle, I don't think these cranks in anymore, so I might dig around. But they're like 46 millimeters of chain line. That might be fine. I really want like track. I really want like 42.5, 43, but it's only a couple extra millimeters. It probably won't be in the 36 all that much anyways, this little ring. The pump, of course, Frenchy style. And then for the stem, I got the Bell Orange stem. Also the Bell Orange setback seat post. It's not in yet because I don't want to scruff it up and get it dirty. So I'm just using a generic 27.2 seat post. But I did get those same stainless bolts for the stem faceplate. I might see if I can find some M6 ones for the stem clamp, but if not, whatever. That looks good, just the 4 up here. Got the XT shifter with the 7-speed XT logo in gold. I got these old Diacomp brake levers. That the silver is beautiful, the black's a little bit chipped up. I just covered the black spots in Sharpie, but then the Sharpie marks always look slightly different color than the regular black, so I ended up just Sharpieing the whole dang thing. And it kind of looks good. It makes it look like more anodized and light black. I also used some Paragon Machine Works brass barrel adjusters in both the derailleur and the shifters to make it cool. They're like $10 a piece. Probably won't work as well. I did get some all silver polished MKS pedals. These are the MKS Always pedals. I have these on my rando bike. I've had them on there for years. Renee Hurst got them back in the day. You could only get them in like a dull silver. But I love them. They're the best. I've always wanted brighter silver ones. These popped up on Blue Lug for like $50 retail. That's like half of what the Renee Hurst ones cost, and in bright silver. And a friend of mine ordered these for me like as a present, for like a shop warming present. So they might end up going on this bike if I can't stand these orange ones. I got these orange ones for $10, brand new in the box, off of like Facebook Marketplace. I was gonna go order some for like 30 or 40. I'm like, I just had them. So I'll try them first. If not, they'll end up going on my rando bike, which will be cool. So that's it. I mean, just slapped this stuff together yesterday in a few hours. I ran the dynamo wiring through the down tube. not the bottom bracket shell, because I'm planning on running it into the fender and then mounting that light on top of the fender. I often do the seat tube mounted light. It's a lot more work, a different thing. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I usually do like the Rene Hurst seat tube mounted light, which is cool, but it's expensive and I don't want to spend the money or the time. So the fender ones, if I can never have the fenders off, whatever. And I'm going to do a second little video probably today about how to run dynamo wiring guides inside tubes. I've done a video in the past for how to run brake through internal holes in the tubes. And the dynamo wiring is basically the same, but no one really understands. And it's very hard to do, and everyone's frustrated because you need to use a vacuum. I could never make the vacuum work, although I did see a video yesterday in a short of someone making the vacuum trick work. I was like, oh, okay. They only showed you how to get the string through. They didn't show you how to attach the cable or wire to the stupid string and pull it through. So I'm going to do, my next video, probably today, will be how to run dynamo, flexy, flimsy, thin little dynamo wires through an internal. I'll do it in the fork, just because it's easier to show in the video because it's such a short, expansive tube. And I've been wanting to make this for a long time, but I haven't run any dynamo wire stuff for like a year or two, so this is my first opportunity. So keep an eye out for that. I also got these dark gold rotors, which are definitely getting overkill. I also got 2 different colors of gold housing. This is like blue lug, the old stainless wound with the clear gold, like BMXy style housing. But it's too light and there's too much gold already. I got this darker braided gold, but it is also just too light. I think it's too much. I really think I might go with black housing, which I never do on custom builds because it's so boring. It's what everybody wants, it's boring. But I might do black to have enough black touches. It might look good. Otherwise, I have some braided silver from Velo Orange I really like. Maybe it'll look good, lighten it up a little bit still. Or I have some like regular silver from Jaguar I really like. It looks good on like every vintage bike ever with silver parts, especially the silver logos. So I'm not sure yet, but either way, I'm going to get to building this bike. Maybe I can get it test rideable today. And then that only gives me Thursday, Friday to build the rack, which is not enough time. But maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. If I really get on this, maybe I can do it. Because the swap meet is Saturday morning, early. And I want to ride this bike to the swap meet with all my modded out frames. God, I want to do another modded out frame first too. It's just not enough time. Unless I work Wednesday and Thursday, take no days off this week, which I might. I want to take all my modded frames and just show my modded frames, my stickers, and just tell people I'm frame building again, I'm doing mods, I'm doing repairs, just to drum up business with the bike nerd crowd. So we'll see. Welcome back. I spent all afternoon working on my bike, and just took it on a couple of test rides, locked the shop up, took it out for like a half hour, trying to slowly break those brakes in. I think that's what you're supposed to do with disc brakes. Oh. So far no squeal. They stop really well. When they're starting to stop really well. You know, I got these like 80s BMX brake levers on these like brand new hydraulic cable pull, hydraulic brakes. Hey man, they said you could use any brake lever you want, including vintage and short pull stuff, so here I am. I love it. I was afraid it was going to be too small for me. Like I really, I only spent a few minutes on the math, figuring out like my height and my reach and all that. The reach feels great. I use an extra long top tube. I don't even remember what I did now. So I use an extra long top tube with a 60 centimeter top tube. I think I did 57. Yeah. 57 as you measure a bike normally. You know, the frame builder, we measure things center to center. So it's like 56 center to center, 57 to the Japanese style to the top here. I really thought this bike would feel a little small. It does not. It's got a very good French fit. This thing is right up to my business. I barely got a fistful of seat post. This little Grand Cru logo has only got about a centimeter to the top of the lug, which looks good. I like it having a little room. The saddle's real tall. This is a vintage Brooks Professional. So far I like it. I didn't even align this little hanger thing. It shifts pretty well. It's doing a little weird, but I add a little tension and it shifts fine. It's trying to auto shift a little bit. I got the 7 clicks, no problem, and the 8th, it pulls into 8th, no problem. It stays there, it's a little friction pull. These cheapo pulleys, these gold pulleys I got from like Temu for like $3, they are borderline too wide for this 8-speed chain. There's no way they'd work on a 9 or 10, right? Right. They're wide, they're grindy. I'm already wearing off the ammo on the tips. They need to be like a half a millimeter shorter at least. So I can't pedal backwards because it'll bind up. The chain will flop. But I'm not really wanting to pedal backwards. I didn't put my chain checker gauge. I'll show you. I was really worried that the chain ring sits out way too far. I didn't put my chain checker gauge on. You clamp this onto the metal cog on the sprocket. This little guy shoots out and touches the chain ring. And it's fine. This thing is right in between, you know, the 4th cog and the 5th cog, so there's like 4 on each side. Should be fine. Worst case, if it drives me nuts, I will go get a Tonge or, you know, some other Japanese body bracket, like a 107 or something. Or they make 103s, I think, which is crazy. I mean, real worst case, I could put this ring on the inside and use like a 113 or 110 bottom bracket, bring it out a little bit, and use a bash guard, which I like to do, but I didn't want to hide this golden ring. But also, it's got a black on it, a black small bash guard that was high enough, with a big enough cutout so you could see most of the gold. Might actually look really, really good. I did make an executive decision to use red ferrules for the brakes and shifters, because these brakes have a little red anodized reservoir cover. So I thought a little bit of red would look good. Probably should have used red cable tips. I almost used black cable tips, but I went gold, because this bike's solid gold. I almost went with the Jaguar silver cable housing, but I thought it would start to look too busy. It would really match the pump. It looks good with silver parts, but I thought it would look too busy, so I went black just to keep everything as subtle and out of the way and not attention grabbing as possible. I got the black rubber, and the saddle's basically black. I got the black ESI grips, and it's black on the shifter and levers. Like, I used the black dust caps. I was thinking about getting some gold aluminum ones. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll get some red ones to match the ferrules. And then I'm out of control again. I'm going too far. But I like this bike. In the first test ride I had the saddle. I usually like, on an upright bike, I usually like the saddle like pointing to the sky. So I get all my weight balance back here. Then they're comfortable. You don't slide forward. I had to adjust it down a little bit. So it's almost back to normal. Still up a couple degrees. And the bars I had to bring down a couple of times. You could just feel them, a hot spot on my palms. This Velo Orange granola bar is pretty good. And it feels pretty natural. He'd be like, do I want to be different? I'm like, I don't think I do. I think it feels real natural. The width feels good. You know, I prefer if it was more of a cruiser bar. I like cruiser bars, but it's just not cool anymore. But I am so high. I didn't cut the steer at all. The full little upright and a little bit of sweep to the bars and all the spacers. It almost feels like it's too high. I'm going to have to ride it for a while. I might end up, you know, throwing one of these spacers over the cap and dropping it, ride it like that for a while and decide, because once you cut that steer, you know going back. So I ain't gonna cut it unless I got to. It's either perfect or a bit too high. But yeah, 60 centimeter with this 90 with these sweet box bars feels pretty good. For a second, I was like, I could go a little farther. I was really afraid it'd be too bunched up. I can hit my knee because the bars are so wide. If I turn really, really tight while pedaling, which it's not, I can barely touch it, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm stoked. It's late, I skipped lunch. I should stay a few more hours working the fenders, but I'm hungry and I'm tired and I'm grumpy and I'll just mess them up. To take off, I'm gonna sneak in here and spend a few hours on the fenders. I really need to spend a few hours on that rack. Even if I can just get it brazed up mostly, so I can ride it for the bike show, I can always come back and do the final filing and clean up later. I can always add the lowriders later. I just need to make the main platform attached so I can carry a bunch of junk to the show. But so far I like. It's nice. It was nice to ride around. It does feel slow. I did like a 72 C2, but it feels relaxed. These fat tires. It feels a little heavy and slow, like a clunker, like a like a mountain bike, but not really. The steering is really quick, which is good, so it'll steal a lot more normal when I have the front rack on, a little bit of weight. So I get 15 to 30 pounds in the front. It's going to handle like a bike with no weight on it. So I'm happy. I'm happy. It fits right. It looks pretty cool. These pedals still kind of stand out as way too much. I did find these black magnesium pedals that I bought when I was working at the community cycling center out of the used bin. They're a little scruffy, big BMX platform style. Bearings feel amazing. Say magnesium right on, which is cool. I usually cannot stand black pedals on a bike unless it's got a lot of black parts, so I don't know. I might try them, just for funs. And also, these pedals are low. I do a low bottom bracket. These are long cranks, low bottom bracket, wide pedals. I can't take a corner fast, especially while pedaling, even my foot down. It's usually how I like my bikes. I know that. I never try and pedal through turns, or at least through the sharpest part of the turn. These pedals are big. I might get some scraping. And that's the cool thing about magnesium is it when it scrapes the ground, it shoots like neon explosive green sparks. It's really cool. A lot of lowrider guys will put these on the bottom of their car, so when they dump through your end, they'll drag on the cement, shoot sparks everywhere. So that can be kind of fun and cool. But anyways, I got more than I thought to get done, honestly, for today. Not as far as I wanted to get. I would love to have got the fenders on and the lights on, but I can't get the lights on without the fenders on and without the rack being built, because I'm out to the rack. But it looks good. Got the orange fenders tomorrow. I'm probably just ranting and raving, but I enjoyed riding this bike. It looks cool. I'll put all the photos in. Anyways, thanks for watching. All right, welcome back. It is now Friday. I had to take Thursday off to do family stuff, but I snuck in for a couple of hours and got the fenders mounted. It is a pleasure to mount fenders on a bike that actually has all the clearances and dimples for fenders. They're designed around it. These Velo Orange 650B by 58 fenders fit these New Horizon 650B 47 tires perfectly. You basically get a fender up all the way around, so there's any waviness or distortion. There's no place the fender's going to rub. If someone bumps this with the bike rack, it's not going to instantly make the fenders rub, which is what I think is important in fender fit. People fit fenders way too tight into way too tight of bikes, way too big of tires, and then you have like a millimeter clearance, and it's always rubbing and catching. And if anyone touches it, it's rubbing. If you breathe on it wrong, it's rubbing. So it's very, very nice. I definitely did my math wrong when I put my bridges in. I think I'm actually with a fork. I did my math wrong, so there's a bigger gap up here and here and here than I wanted. So I used little V-brake bolts. They're little M6 nuts that hold your V-brakes on. They're nice, they're chromed, they're tapered. They always look good as little spacers. So I use those everywheres. Well, not here. Here I just stacked a big hard plastic round washer with the stock rubber washer and the stock metal washer on the top. I have a nice line. They could be a little bit lower, but honestly, the higher the better. The more clearance, the more easy it is for stuff that gets in to get out. Same way you always want to make the backs slightly tighter to let less stuff in, and the fronts a little bit looser. Not much, not so dramatic, but a little bit. So anything that can get in can get out, in theory, is the plan. So fenders are mounted. I started playing with the tail light. I found this old vintagey bracket I'm going to use. I'm going to drill that today and get it on. The headlight is going to mount to the front rack. The wires are going to run along the front rack, back to the fork. And go internal on the fork to the front hub, and internal, I've already got the rear wire run because you have to do it with the bottom bracket out. Internal through here, pop out the bottom bracket shell, and then I'm probably going to run them internal inside the fender. So I'll probably do separate videos on that, how to run the internal dynamo wiring inside of a fender and how to run internal dynamo wiring inside of a tube. Because those are handy dandy videos. It took me a long time to be good at that. It's very frustrating when you haven't figured it out yet. So that's just a quick check-in. The swap meet's tomorrow. It is raining like crazy. I still want to ride this bike. If it is really soaking and drenching, I might not. I'm trying to talk myself out of not doing it. I want to do it no matter what. Even if I have to stand in that big freezing swap meet for hours in wet clothes, miserable. So I'm gonna start a rack right now. If there's time, I might start on the 1960 Allegro project and just put candy boxes on it. Anything else I can think of real quick and easy to take it and display. I have the Bridgestone. Somebody keeps saying they're gonna buy it. I keep telling them put it on a deposit when I'm taking that swap meet. They bought a bunch of parts from me on eBay for it. They have not put down the deposit, so I'm gonna take the Bridgestone and the Mercian and the Austro Daimler all in the front rack of this bike. It's only 4 or 5 frames. Frames don't weigh much, frames and forks. And I'm going to take a bunch of stickers and my price sheets, if I remember everything. And then ride this bike. And my plan is, it's a big picnic bench there, so my plan is to set this on the back seat of the bench. So you can see my bike sitting back there, you can look at it, and then on the actual tabletop, set up these bikes. I still haven't thought of a way set these bikes up so they don't fall over. If there's time, I might try and figure something out. I have a lot of like little individual bike stands. Maybe I can set those to pinch the bottom brackets or something. I remember some frame builders used to just make some old like 1/4-inch rack tubing and bend it into a thing. So it's like almost like a trainer stand. So it just goes through your axle and then comes down with little feet. Might bend up some of those real quick. I was kind of thinking it'd be cool to like use a long flat sheet of steel and braze on some little up tubes and use like an old bottom bracket cup. So I just loosely thread in that cup. Have it like, with just the bolt going through like a flat piece of metal welded down to a bar. So just have 5 or 6 frames displayed and sort of bolted down this way so they can't fall over. Someday I could set them up high on the shelves or something. I don't know. I might think of something, but the reality is I'll probably run out of time overcomplicating this rack. But let's get to the rack. I'll check back in when I have something to show. Welcome back. It's about 8 or 9 hours later. Been here all day, came in early, stayed really late. The swap meet starts loading at like 10 tomorrow. I only need a few minutes. So I might show up like 10:30. I'm trying to get here like 9:30. Got the pile of bikes loaded up, ready to go in the front of this thing. It may or may not be thunderstorming and hailing tomorrow. We'll see. I like to ride it, but I got the rack not done, but like pretty brazed up. Some of the brazes need a little touch up. Some of them are only like kind of tacked, kind of like a heavy tack, like a full braze, but not pretty. So I was doing it on here, so tacking on here and doing it on the table, trying to make it faster, trying to make it rideable. I like some of the design elements, so I used like another U to match this U. And it looks very old and French to me. Just have the big U, have the Mitch Pryor map, little dudes hanging down. I went full waterfall. I was gonna do the one in the middle and the sides coming out, but I was like, oh, this is like a 4-inch gap. It's like a 6-inch gap. It's ugly. So I went waterfall, waterfall, waterfall. So a bunch of extra hours of work. I got it all tacked up and brazed. Got it all bolted on. It seems like it might be a little crooked. Rushing things never works. Might be a slight bit crooked. I can't really tell. Nothing in the shop is level. I think I pretty much got the benches level. I'm going to have to throw it up on the benches to take a look. Put some levels on it. I always shoot for like a degree up, and I thought I did that here, but I sort of just, I think the stand might have moved a little bit. I'm either level or maybe even a ½ degree down. Rack's going down. It's unacceptable. I put these long U-stays here because I think that I might put my tubing bender on here, just try and get a little bit of bend in, just enough to bring this thing back a degree. So we might try that. I can get the lights on because, it's out of time. But the thing is rideable as is. It'll be all daylight the whole time I'm riding. I don't need the lights. I can do those tomorrow when I get back. And this rack also has no platform here or anywhere else. This is going to be for like a doggy car seat. So I'm going to put like a 8.5-inch platform right here, and then do something, some other rails, maybe a 3/4 C shape. I haven't really decided. I don't want to make the front match that, so I think I might just leave the front off. And then when I have the doggy car seat made on here, I might just put like a bag to fill up that space, or another bag to fill up that space, like a pockets. So we'll see. But anyways, here's the pictures of the thing. It's rideable. There's a good chance I will ride this to the bike show tomorrow. Bike show's a swap meet. Bunch of people swapping junk parts, trying to lowball you on everything. I wish I could have got the lights done. I wish I could have got the rack more done, but I got it this far. I did not think. I almost gave up by 4. I was like, I gave up. I haven't eaten. I realized I forgot to go pick up the rack tabs. I ordered them like a week ago. So I had to drive over to Frame Builder Supply in the pouring down rain. And so that'll take 10 minutes. It never takes 10 minutes. I want to talk to Frame Builder Supply. Bob Bantam's there. I want to talk to him for a while. It took like probably 45 minutes there and back and BSing about cool frame building stuff. So still pretty fast. This thing's real low to the fender, which is what I like. And then it's got this open spot in it somewhere. I'm either going to put a bridge across, which would be slow and boring, and mount it to the fender. I love having fenders at 3 points of attachment. So it's got the stays down here, the crown here. I love the third point because they never ever make noise or bounce around. This one's pretty stiff. I'm thinking about doing something dorky, like making a heart shape out of tubing and put it in here, and then making maybe the fender mount off the heart somewhere, the point of the heart. Even though no one will ever see it ever, it would be super cool, so I might. But I'm mostly happy with this rack. It might be a little crooked, it might be a little weird, so it's rushing. I don't think anyone's ever going to notice. I got it on here after doing like brazing this side on, the whole thing pulled, I had to bend it way over, and then braze the other side, it still came back, and I bent it some more. So it might be a little ramp, but this platform was pretty flat. I just brazed it on a random piece of steel I have on the table with some magnets. I have fancy jigs with just like some magnets off my vise and off the table and like a file holding it in and with an Allen wrench. You don't need to have $10,000 fancy stuff to do stuff. It just makes things faster and easier if you're repeating stuff all the time. But if you're hand making stuff, that stuff doesn't buy you a lot of time. And it just scares a lot of people out of it. Don't get scared, do it. Got this extra braze on here. I'm going to do another little loop here eventually to this braze on. I was thinking I might even do like a detachable lowrider or something. I haven't really thought it out that much. But my dog's going to be riding on this rack, and it's just got the barrel eyelets and the eyelets here. So I wanted another point of contact just to be safe. And I might do those detachable lowriders. They'd be fun. I might have enough tubing left to do them, just in case I want to take this thing on a super long bike ride with my dog, which I might. So we'll see. I did make this as a city bike, so there's no attachments for a rear rack at all. So I might want the extras. I mean, I can always just wrap a sleeping bag and like volley strap it here, like the kids do. Doesn't really need that. Tent on one side and the sleeping bag on the other side. Dog on the top, strap some stuff under it. I don't know. We wouldn't be going for more than a day or a weekend. Overnighter anyways, probably. It's not going to be full-size panniers. We're going to go to the coast for a week or anything crazy. But anyways, that is my video. Check out this bike. It's coming along. It's pretty cool. I kind of wish I would have time to do this, but it's already like after 6. I'm already 2 hours late getting home. She wants dinner. She wants to poop. You know how it is. Yeah, I'll figure something out for these guys. I'll do something cool. This rack's coming along. It's pretty fun. Thanks for watching.